John Barnes has recently said we have only taken in Ukrainians because we value their lives and country more because they are white Europeans. Take a listen.
I just resent the idea of having a finger pointed at me that I am somehow being biased towards people with white skin rather than a different colour skin or a different culture. Overall context to our society and whether or not we're a compassionate society or not. Are we?
I don't think we are necessarily. We are towards certain groups of people. We are towards Ukrainians, because in terms of the refugees and the ease in which Ukrainian refugees can come, and why a lot of people are coming over on boats, because there's no legal route for them to come. Now, if we are to create a more legal route for them to come from Afghanistan, who supported us, and from these other countries, we'd get less people coming over on boats.
Some people have legitimately held concerns about the amount of people coming to this country, notably those who have to live next door to people they don't know about. They see hotels that are full. They see public services being stretched, or at least that's their fear and it's their perception. How do you address the worries that those people have and the concerns?
Are we worried about Ukrainians coming over? There are many more Ukrainians coming over. We seem to accept them. And of course, that's going to be a strain on the economy. That's going to have many coming over. But so why do we accept Ukrainians coming over, but not other people from Syria and Iraq? I wonder.
Well, you tell me then. What do you wonder?
Why are so many? Well, I know why. Because there's certain people are considered to be more worthy than others. Be it men, women towards men, gay people towards straight people, black people towards white people, Ukrainians or Syrians. Why do we presume that Ukrainians are more worthy? Why do we use the language of rapists and murderers and criminals coming over from Syria and Iraq, but there are no rapists, murderers, or criminals coming from Ukraine?
Do you think that the people who opened up their homes and houses to Ukrainian women and children are somehow showing a bias?
How many have they opened up their houses to Syrian women and children who are coming from war zones, or Iraqi women and children, or Afghan women and children? These are the victims. Forget about the political situation, whether they are the war zone with Russia and Ukraine as opposed to, the interfighting in Syria or Iraq. Why do we feel more empathy towards Ukrainian women and children than Syrian women and children?
Are you suggesting in some way that I have shown prejudice or bias for taking those people into my home?
Have you ever considered taking a Syrian mother and child into your home, or Iraqi?
No, I didn't before because I wasn't all I'm asking you is, are you telling me that I'm biased or prejudiced because I have taken them into my home? Are you suggesting that that's the case?
Not at all. You're showing empathy. But who do you show empathy to?
The Homes for Ukraine scheme was the Homes for Ukraine scheme, and the people that I spoke to here after the invasion of Ukraine, the people that I spoke to, they laid out a story that was easily understandable. The narrative was there in front, and I had a place that we could put them, and it was the right thing for me to do. Did I know about Syrians, Iraqis, no. Yemenis, Eritreans? Less so, but that doesn't make me. That doesn't mean that I should be negatively judged.
Not at all, Andrew. But why do you know more about Ukraine than about Yemen and Syria? Because as a society, we care more about it. So therefore, it's nothing to do with you. It's to do with the society and the culture we live in that will promote worthy people more than others. And who are the worthy people we promote? Why do you know about Yemen? This has been going on for years. Why do you not know about Syria? Why do you not know about Iraq?
I do.
He's talking complete nonsense. And as usual, racism is the reason for everything. Not so long ago, there was a lot of prejudice towards white Polish people in Britain who were seen as coming here and stealing all the jobs. Almost as many people from Hong Kong have recently come here as from the Ukraine, and they are not fleeing war and death. I'm pretty sure they aren't white. The fact is, events in Ukraine hit home more because it is a war in Europe that rightly or wrongly gives us flashbacks of World War II, the most significant event in recent European history. A European country has once again been invaded, and it is close enough to home to make it think it could directly impact us. On top of that, it is Russia, led by Putin, who was invaded. And Russia, again, rightly or wrongly, is seen as the big bad enemy right on our doorstep. The ever-looming threat baked into our psyche. It is natural for anyone to make a bigger deal out of a big event that it's close to home, more so than something not so close to home. Obviously, this war was going to be a bigger deal to European countries and the wider Western world in general than a war in Syria would be. Unless, of course, a war there had geopolitical significance for us. It's just like a crime taking place on our own street would be a bigger deal than a crime taking place miles away in a city somewhere else. All that is why I believe the Ukrainian conflict is a big deal. To suggest this war is getting so much coverage only because the Ukrainians are considered white is preposterous. Fact is, Syria is not something close to our own that we perceive as a direct threat to us. Muslims show solidarity with Palestinians because they are mostly Muslims. Does anyone think for 1 minute the British Muslim population would give a damn about Palestinians and their struggle if it was a majority Christian or Hindu country? But yet when Britain shows solidarity with a European country that we are allied with and supplying arms to, we are called racist. Though us and America are mainly doing so for our own political reasons anyway. And we know it's mostly women and children coming from Ukraine while the men stay behind and fight. Most of those coming on boats are men in their 20s. And because of that, as well as the fact the public sees them more as economic migrants rather than refugees, public sympathy for them has diminished. Douglas Murray explains all that in one of my previous videos. This is not the first time I've heard John Barnes speak convincingly about a whole lot of nonsense, and I'm sure it won't be the last.